every relationship, every form of attention in your life takes up a certain amount of bandwidth, a certain amount of space. So everything in my life, for example, that I'm invested into, every single relationship that I have that takes up my conscious attention, every single job I have, every single circumstance that I think about at any time of the day, any artistic endeavors, anything that I'm creating, all these things, they take an amount of energy to support and maintain. And while I do believe we are infinite beings, we do have a certain capacity of how much we can offer at any one time. I do believe those levels can greatly be increased, for sure, and perpetuated. But to keep in mind, imagine little lines are coming out off you into all these things. And oftentimes on these lines, these chords, we can be pouring into one thing. Let's say we have a friendship or a relationship that we seem to kind of, we're always messaging the person, we're always talking to them, but we don't really seem to get a lot out of it. And no one is right or wrong here. No one is made to respond. Um, but for us to become sovereign, aware, and responsible and accountable and conscious to see, okay, I'm putting energy into this thing. It's an okay thing, but it just doesn't seem to be reciprocating or playing ball in the way that I like. Now, I can find ways to adapt to this certain situation as well to possibly get the desired result. But I think it's also important to realize that this world is full of tons of different things. And if something or someone isn't working, it's not reciprocating, you've tried communicating, it's best just to let those things go. Or maybe not even let them go, but realize that you may never get what you expect from it. This idea, this story that you've had in your head of like, I want this to be this thing, well, it might not ever be possible or capable of being that thing. And it has nothing to do with anyone being malicious or right or wrong. I see this happen in the dating world a lot. Um, as a man, historically, a lot I'd be knocking on doors. I'd be knocking on doors like, hey, how's it going? Hey, how's it going? Trying to get like a conversation started. And there's certain situations where I'd get a bite or I don't. And the ones where I didn't get a bite, I'd keep knocking on the door and I'd be like upset with this person that they're not like talking to me the way I want or reciprocating the way I believe it should be. Instead of me just taking action into my own hands and be like, well, for whatever reason, the reason doesn't matter, I'm not getting a return from this. So it's important to make those decisions for yourself and discern what they are because you're the only one who can. And instead of getting upset and judgmental about why these things may be happening, we can understand that everything is as it is for a reason. We are all on our unique paths, being exactly where we need to be. So because something or someone doesn't fit into our version of that, how can we be upset? Really, how can we be upset? It's okay if something doesn't resonate, and just to realize it doesn't resonate, and that's it. It can be completely neutral. It doesn't need to be a positive or a negative. Hopefully, a positive. But how many chords of your attention do you have shot out into the world and into other people and other things? It doesn't have to be people, it can be projects. Like if we take on an undertaking, recently I've completed an album. I had it tied up for a very long time where I just, for whatever reason, didn't want to work on it. I came up with a story, um, and then it would just kind of sit. And I realized when I finished it, I got this massive amount of power back. And I didn't realize how much attention consciously and subconsciously I had wrapped up into that process. And when I completed it, I'm like, what is this feeling coming over me? This is great. This is like, I have some stuff, I have some juice to work with that I don't know where it came from. So understand that where we place our attention is where we place our focus. And where we place our focus is where our energy goes. And we are beings of energy. And when we're putting our energy into things, are we getting a return? Are we okay with not getting something back? And asking ourselves the question, is this something I want, regardless of what I think it is and what it should be, regardless of what everyone else thinks about it, regardless of whatever you think it could be in the future? Is this serving you now? Yes or no? If it's no, ask yourself, why are you still involved with it?